Welcome back to Ordinary Guy DIY. Hey, today we're going to do an oil and filter change on a 2015 Lexus RX350. Gen 3, 3.5. The engine code is a 2GR-FE. I choose to do oil change every 5,000 miles. You can do whatever interval you want, but I don't exceed 5,000 miles. I'll try to keep this straight and to the point. So pop the hood. You'll see the dipstick there. Your fill cap is there. It calls for OW20. There's kind of some arguments that could be made that depending on what climate you live in, that you could do a 5W30 to get a little bit more protection. You'd lose a little bit of gas mileage, but it's very minimal. I like to pull the cap. It's a good idea to set it right by the hood latch. That way, if you think you forgot it, you won't be able to close the hood. But I pull the cap so that it vents good when I go to drain it. The things you'll need for an oil change: there's your filter. I go ahead and go with the OEM, the Toyota brand. I find that they're actually cheaper than the aftermarket. If you're not familiar, these actually have a canister. This is just a filter element inside of a canister. It comes with your big and little O-rings. It comes with this little plastic. It's like a drain aid. It helps. You can drain the canister out before you actually loosen the whole canister. And there's your element. It's pretty straightforward. To get that canister cap off, you will need a special oil filter wrench. I got this one at O'Reilly's for, I think they're about 10 bucks. Drain plug, gasket, and then I'll show you underneath what we got going on. I don't have a lift, so I just have to use a set of drive up ramps, but they are plastic, so don't trust your life to that plastic. If those fail while you're under it without jack stands, that's game over. So drive up on there and then quickly get some jack stands under it so that you can finish this project safely and go back in and spend time with your kids. Underneath, that's your filter canister, and your drain plug is right behind it. That's a 14mm bolt, and then you can just use a 3/8 drive ratchet to take that center cap off. And then you put that plastic drain tool in there, and that helps drain the canister itself. And then once you have it drained, then you can pop the main cap off. There are torque specs on that cap, but I believe it's 18 foot-pounds, and the drain plug is 32 foot-pounds. If you don't have a torque wrench, just pay attention to how tight they are when you take them off, and then just get them about that tight when you put them on. I have a torque wrench, so I probably will use one. Now the good thing about this one, the filter and the plug are close enough together that once the stream slows down on the plug drain, I'll be able to pull that filter. I think I can catch both of them at the same time. That way, while that one's finishing, start draining the filter. While that's draining, I'll get a new plug gasket. Have that ready. Get yourself an extension so you can get away from that your little plastic air dam. And you just push that up in there and it'll start flowing. I like to try to be productive while I'm letting that drain, and this would be a good time to go around, check your tire pressures, especially if you have a lot of fluctuation in the weather in your area. Summertime, you might let the pressures down a little bit, and in the winter, you may have to bump them up a little bit. Currently, it's winter here in Illinois, so now I don't need to do it today because we just recently went on a trip, and I already checked the pressures in the last week, so I think I'm good on that front. Another thing you can do while you're under here is, you know, look your transmission pan over, your front differential, make sure you don't check for leaks. Well, most likely if you had a leak, you'd already know it because it would already be on the ground, but it's still a good idea to check while you're under here. I just have a Quinn brand torque wrench from Harbor Freight, actually. I got it on sale for like 50 bucks, I think. And it'll do everything I need to do. Oh. That just popped off my O-ring, but it comes with a new one, so that won't matter. Does a good job of draining that canister. There's your other O-ring. That center is actually spring loaded. It doesn't hurt to just double check that movement, make sure the spring is working like it should. This cap actually says 25 newtons, which converts over to around 18 foot-pounds. There is no right or wrong way to put the filter in. It's the same on both sides. So one thing I'd recommend is when you're putting your new O-rings in, give them a little film of oil, oil them up just slightly. That finishes things down here. Valvoline full synthetic, you know, in the OW20. I've had great luck with Valvoline. I've been using Valvoline for 30 plus years. I can honestly say I've never had one single issue with it. Mobile One, Valvoline, they're both good oils. I wouldn't go outside of those two personally. Capacity is 6.4 quarts. I said earlier that I change my oil every 5,000 miles, and just a word of advice, stick to that. There's some oils that claim, oh, you can go 10, 15,000 miles. Don't do that to your engine. Oil is cheap compared to engine replacement, and it's the one thing that you can easily do yourself that will absolutely prolong the life of your engine. Since I have this up on ramps and it's not sitting level, what I generally do is I'll put 6 quarts in, and I'll actually start it and let it run for just a little bit. Let it circulate good, warm up a little bit. I'll back it down off the ramps to where it is once I check. Actually, I'll start it up. And the first thing I do immediately, no matter what vehicle I'm doing this to, is I get back on the creeper and I look underneath and just double check for leaks. So you just took the plug and you took a filter out. You want to make sure that you don't have any leaks under there. Once you know you're good there, I'll go ahead and back it off the ramps. Get it sitting level. I'll shut it off and let the oil drain back down into the crankcase. And and then I'll adjust my level from there, because I know I need to add, you know, another half a quart or so, and I'll just add in small increments till I get where I need to be. Let's get out and check the leaks. Should be good to go. You have to do a reset on the maintenance required soon. So what you have to do is get your odometer, put it on trip A, and then shut the ignition back off. While you're holding the trip button, you want to push the start button twice to power it on without your foot on the brake. And then it says resetting maintenance data. Once it does that, you can let go. Alright, so check that level. I'm right where I need to be. I think that about covers it. One other thing I didn't show, but I do write down my oil changes, and anything I do to a vehicle, I put it in the owner's manual just so I have it for myself. And it serves as a good record in case you ever sell the vehicle. You can show potential buyers that, hey, you know, this thing's been well maintained. And I think that covers this oil change on a 2015 Lexus RX350. Hey, if you like what you saw, consider liking and subscribing, and we'll keep bringing more content as it comes up. Appreciate you watching, and have a great day.